Hi, this is May. I'm here at the Ziad Kitchen and I'm really excited for another kitchen chat. I have a special guest with me today and I'm really excited because we are chatting all things dates. Before we get started, I am going to make my guest a very special, delicious smoothie. It's going to start off with a couple of bananas, chopped bananas. You can also use frozen bananas in this recipe, and some bacon dates. Bacon dates are simply just dates that are mushed together for you into a paste. They're steamed and very creamy, just like this. And they are perfect for the smoothie because you don't have to pit them. They're already pitted for you. Just go ahead and add your date paste to your smoothie. To that, we're gonna add something really yummy to this smoothie. We're gonna add some cocoa powder because cocoa and bananas are a match made in heaven. So little cocoa, unsweetened cocoa. All the sweetness is going to come from the date paste. A pinch of salt to highlight that sweetness and to bring out the cocoa flavor. A little bit of cardamom is also delicious with chocolate. It'll highlight those chocolatey notes. Just a pinch. To that, we're going to add some ice. If you're using frozen bananas, you can omit the ice. And I'm going to add 2 more ingredients. Yum and delicious ingredients. A little almond milk to thin it out. You can use any milk of your choice. And tahini. Tahini is a sesame paste. It will add richness and nuttiness, an extra dose of protein to your smoothie. And here it goes. And blend to combine. Oh my goodness, I can smell that cocoa and the tahini. Let's pour it out. And here you have it, a delicious date smoothie made with bananas, cocoa, and a little bit of tahini. One for me and one for my date.
Hi, May.
Hi, Nizar. How are
you?
you?
What
Nice
do we
to have
here?
you.
This
It's
looks
a date
great.
smoothie that I made
Awesome.
with date paste and added bananas, because bananas and dates and
I
cocoa.
love it. Let me
Can you smell the tahini?
Wow, that's delicious. I mean, like my nose picks up on the banana first and the chocolate, but then it has a different type of sweetness, almost like a nutty caramel. Yeah, this is
No
great.
added sugar, just the dates are perfectly sweet.
Wow,
They are
that's
delicious.
great.
And I'm really excited that you're here because we have a box of dates all the way from Jericho, Palestine. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about Ziad is with Nizar is with Ziad Brothers Importing. And tell us a little bit about your family farm in Jericho, Palestine.
Okay, so we went looking in Palestine for dates. Now, of course, Medjool dates grow in Southern California in the desert valley, but outside of that, the next desert valley, especially one that's close to home, is Palestine. And Jericho has the perfect climate for it. It's 432 meters below sea level. It's the lowest point on Earth. It's a desert. It has mineral-rich soil. It's very sandy desert, so it's got great drainage.
And it's
ample
hot.
sunshine. It is hot. And that is the absolute perfect ingredients for these little beautiful Medjool dates.
It's so beautiful once you drive down to Jericho that you're greeted with these beautiful palm trees and, you know, crowned with all these beautiful dates.
Absolutely.
How do you know when is the right time to harvest dates? I mean, they look delicious. I see them sometimes. They look yellow on the vine. Can you tell me a little bit about the different, the harvesting process of dates?
Sure. So when the dates start to mature, the farmers will put these mesh bags around the bunches
Okay.
of the fruit. And that does a couple things. Number one, it protects the fruit from being eaten by insects and birds and other critters. And number two, you want the date to go from that little crunchy, almost apple yellow date, which is known as
Balah.
balah, and those are sold. You can actually cut them when they're yellow.
They're beautiful.
Crunchy, they're sweet, they kind of dry in the mouth a little bit, but they're addicting. They're very, very beautiful. And then they start to transform, and people will say they start to look like they're over ripened, but what happens
Wrinkled.
is it goes from yellow. No, before it even gets that far, before it goes from yellow, it starts to get soft and it starts to turn a caramel color, almost like a blonde gold, and that is known as rotab. So rotab is when it goes from that crunchy stage to the very, very like overripe stage, and the rotab people also call like bonbon because they're almost candy-like. They are so wet, they are so delicate. You literally take them and store them in your freezer because if you let them out, they would ferment. They're so wet, they're so full of sugar. But if you are lucky enough to eat a rotab, it is one of the greatest treats you will ever enjoy. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of that here because we don't have the climate here for that. So dates are a member of the stone fruit family, which means stone fruit like a nectarine or a peach
So single
has a
seed.
single seed
Okay.
in the center surrounded by a sweet flesh. So here you go. I'm going to
That's
split this
fantastic.
with you.
Yes. Look at that.
And this one's for me, and this is the seed.
It is so creamy and moist. Perfect.
So I want to go back to one more point about the Medjool dates on the harvest and when they're in the bag. Now, I'll show you a picture right now of what it looks like. The dates will tell you when they want to be harvested because on the bunch of yellow dates, you have brown dates and you have the golden rotab. And when they reach the point of being harvested where most of the moisture is taken out, they simply fall to the bottom of the bag. Or a simple shake will drop them into the bag, and then the farmers would put a tray under the bag, open it up, collect their harvest, close up the bag, waiting for the rest of them to ripen. And they go on and on and on from tree to tree. Most mature trees will have 7, 8, 9 of these huge bunches. But it's really a beautiful story. Medjool dates they're very expensive for a reason. This is a harvest that happens within a 2-month period during September and October. But all year long, there's a very tender, loving care that is given to these trees. The farmers have a very deep relationship with the trees. They spend a lot of time out there, and it is quite beautiful. If you've never been on a date farm, to feel how majestic it is, it's
That's
really
beautiful.
special.
I mean, I just tasted it. It's so good, delicious, creamy. It almost like tastes like caramel.
Oh yeah.
What are the benefits of dates? I mean, are they good for us, or do they pack a bunch of nutrients and minerals?
Absolutely. I mean, this had a nickname. It was called the King of Fruit
Okay.
and the Fruit of Kings. Now, there are so many different varieties of dates. The ones that are commercially available to us here mostly are deglet nur, which are a pitted date, usually dipped in glucose, or a Medjool date. Medjool dates you find minced, whole, seeded, but Medjool date was known as the king of dates because it was extremely special, extremely sweet, but it's also loaded with minerals and vitamins. So when I say they're extremely sweet, I mean, this is, of course, a natural fruit sugar. And they actually have, besides regular white sugar or agave sugar or any other sweetener that people thought were healthy, this is just as sweet, but it has a nutritional benefit where other sweeteners lack any nutrition. So if you use dates as is, and a date sugar and a date syrup, you're still getting a lot of calcium, a lot of vitamins, vitamin B, vitamin A, vitamin K, magnesium. Actually, did you know that Medjool dates have more potassium than a banana?
Wow.
Yeah.
So we hit it right on with our date and banana smoothie today.
You got a double dose of potassium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that we have beautiful dates and they're so big and plump, I think we should make a snack.
I think that's a great idea.
Stuffing dates is an incredible idea for appetizers, party, or even just snacking. And I thought the combination of salted cheese, this Arabian salted cheese, with the sweet dates is a perfect combination.
I love playing on textures and flavors too. So salty, sweet, crunchy, chewy. I think that'd be great.
That's awesome. So would you show us, please, how to pit a date?
Sure, absolutely. So it's really easy. If the date has a cap, you would just remove that and then just run your knife from the top to the bottom, just only on one side, and then you pop it open and you will see that there's a seed inside. Take that out, and now you are ready to stuff it with a piece of cheese.
That's awesome. Take a wedge of cheese, and we're just going to slice it.
Oh, yeah.
And just go ahead and stuff it right inside.
Cool. We'll do that.
And I think a little sprig of thyme would work really nicely.
Great.
As a flavor.
Little flavor enhancer.
Yes. What do you think? We add a little pistachio
Sure,
on top?
I love that.
Transfer them to your baking sheet.
That is so pretty.
Yeah. And there you have it.
I think that's
stuffed dates.
beautiful. I can't wait.
Now that we have all these stuffed dates and we have plenty of dates, how do you recommend that we store them? I know, like for Ramadan, when it comes, people buy a lot of dates. How do you go about storing the dates and preserving them for a longer time?
Well, the dates, instructions on the box says for long-term storage, you should refrigerate or freeze your dates. Now, what I like to do is, in the case of having a large box like this, which is 5 kilos or 11 pounds, if I'm buying that as a fresh product for my house, I'm going to bag them into Ziploc bags and, usually about 1 pound or 2 pounds, and put them in the freezer. And then whenever I need dates, I could just take it out, put it in the fridge. They thaw beautifully. They refreeze beautifully.
How long do you think they last? If we have these beautiful, does this theory work with all dates, or is it just the Medjool dates?
Theoretically, it works with all dates. Now, what happens is when you have a date that's fresh off the tree and it has a lot of moisture in it, you're probably going to get a year out of it if it's in the freezer. But typically, Medjool dates with about 20 to 24% moisture in them can last up to 5 years in the freezer.
That's amazing.
So, you think about it, you can easily go through this amount of dates in a year, maybe a year and a half. Or have some more parties and make these, and you'll be sure for your party.
Absolutely. Now, a question. I've left some dates out and I forgot about them. So what happened is that they became really, compared to these luscious dates, they're really hard and dry. And are they expired? Are they not usable at this point? Or what do you recommend that we...
No, these dates are fine. Now, what happens is when they lose more of their moisture, they're going to be a lot tougher. Now, there's a bunch of things you could do with it. You can, cut the pits out of them, and you can dice them really finely and throw them on top of oatmeal. The steam and the moisture will help rehydrate them and still make them. They'll be chewy, but that's okay. You're still going to get the delicious flavor.
Or you can throw them in your smoothie, I suppose. Or
yeah, you can throw these in your smoothie. You can even rehydrate these. Wash them off. Just because if you left them out for a while, you just give them a quick rinse. Put some boiling water over them. Rinse that water out, and then let them steep in another change of boiling water, and they'll absorb the water and become plump and delicious. And you just rehydrated a delicious caramel date. You can chop that up and put it over ice cream.
That sounds delicious.
Fantastic.
I have a question about if dates start developing, like we've noticed here, that dates have these little specks, white specks on them.
Right.
What does that really mean?
Well,
or are they edible?
They're totally edible. What this means is that the moisture has come out of it, which is why they're rock hard, and the sugars start coming to the outside. It's a natural process. Inherently, you will also find the natural dates will have some puffy skin on them. There's nothing wrong with them because you want a date that's going to be beautiful, wrinkled, and uniform, or you're going to find one that's going to be plump and have like a little bit of puffy skin on there. And the truth is, if I blindfolded you and had you taste them, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They're still delicious. It's not a beauty contest. A date is a marvelous date, no matter what state they're in.
If you're taking a small quantity of dates, we're not talking a bulk order of dates, can I put them in a glass sealed container and leave them in my pantry?
Sure. So we're talking about immediate needs here, a couple of months. You can keep them in an airtight container at room temperature. Longer than that, 6 months, 7 months in your refrigerator in an airtight container. Otherwise, Ziploc bag, throw them in your freezer, and you're going to have them for a long time.
That sounds...
They're really delicious.
I thought we will finish our stuffed dates with a nice drizzle of olive oil. So we'll just drizzle the top gently with olive oil, and then bacon.
Well, I can't wait to taste these because the fruitiness of the olive oil with the cheese and the crunch, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to
The
bite
cheese
into
will
these.
melt
Yeah,
a
that's
little
going to
bit,
be great.
and the combination of that sweet and savory and salty cheese is going to be delicious.
Yeah.
To the oven they go. So while the dates are baking in the oven, how about we whip up a simple salad?
Awesome.
Dates are so versatile. We've used them in a shake or a smoothie. You can also use them in the date paste. You can use it in baking and pastries and cookies and whatnot. But also, we have this delicious product, the date syrup.
Awesome. Is that, oh yeah, that's Iraqi date syrup. I know that is exactly. The Iraqi date syrup it was famous. Iraq started making this beautiful molasses from dates, where they just take the dates and they boil them down and they strain them, and you are left with this beautifully rich,
Look how thick that is.
robust, almost like a molasses with this intense date flavor. I know that there's several dishes that this is used in cooking and stews with beans in it, but you're going to make a dressing out of this?
We're going to make a dressing, a very simple dressing that anybody can do at home. Just use a simple jar to make a dressing. It's just easier. It all comes together right there.
Okay.
I'm going to add a little bit of that date syrup. It is, like you said, it's thick and it has a rich molassesy, delicious flavor. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that molasses to the jar. Nizar, why don't you? We have a bunch of greens right here.
Okay.
You can use whatever greens you really like. I'm using power greens. You can add to that some, we have chopped onions.
Yeah, sure.
Some cheese. We're using the Syrian cheese. A little bit of dates for that chewy, nice texture. Some nuts also.
Do you like a lot of onion?
Oh, I like onions in my salads.
All right, me too.
And some chickpeas or hummus, we call them in Arabic, to the salad to add that dose of protein.
Okay.
So I think that will be really delicious and a simple dressing that comes together in no time in this jar. So I've added some date syrup right here into my jar.
It's beautiful.
And to that, we're going to add a pinch of salt.
Can I go ahead with the cheese?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We're going to add a pinch of salt. We're going to add some sumac. Sumac is a beautiful color, and it has that beautiful citrusy kind of, not lemon-like, but a little bit of tanginess that will add a nice layer of flavor
Yeah,
to
the aroma
this dish.
is exotic because it has notes of citrus, but it also has a tanginess. And I always love tasting sumac. I think it's so much fun.
Here you go. Sumac tasting.
Let's save some of this to sprinkle over the edge. I know
Sounds
you're
delicious.
putting some in the dressing.
And
Put
to
all the
that,
dates on this.
we're going to add some fruity olive oil.
I like nuts in the salad and on top, so I'm going to save
Sounds
some
delicious.
for the
Yeah, that's a great idea.
very last.
Season your salad with some salt. And then to finish it off, I'm adding an unusual ingredient, but it's so perfect with the date syrup. I'm adding a little bit of orange blossom water.
If you've ever used orange water, which I absolutely love, too much can ruin your dish.
Absolutely. You are right on. So we're going to use the cap to measure out a few drops of orange blossom water to this date syrup salad dressing. We just need to shake it up. Will you do us the honors?
I would love to.
I made sure it's
All
closed.
right, good. Yeah, I think this combines pretty nicely. There you go. Sounds great. I'll get some plates.
Time to dress the salad. That looks so beautiful. Oh, I can smell the sumac right there. Dress the salad. Always dress the salad right before you want to serve it. Give it a gentle toss. Do we have forks? I have
We
a
do.
fork for you
And one for
And a
and a
fork
plate
for
for
me.
you.
and just toss it gently. And here you have it. Our mixed green salad with dates, cheese, and a date dressing. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's so good. I love the dressing in there. I love the date syrup and how it gives the vinaigrette just a totally different dimension. The sumac plays a note with florals. The orange blossom water, I would have never thought to put that in a vinaigrette. It's delicious. It's just this, almost like if you can imagine what sweet smells like, that's just dancing in my nose while I'm eating this. This is
love
great.
that.
I love
the
this.
salad is
Yeah.
approved, and the dates, the chopped dates on top add a nice chewy element
Yeah.
to this whole salad.
That's great. You know what would go great with this, right? The dates in the oven.
Let's check on the dates. Oh my goodness! I can hear that sizzling olive
Yeah,
oil,
yeah.
and I can smell almost
The
caramelization.
thyme
like
comes up, the sweetness comes up. And I'm like, I want to dive right into it and bite it, but they're so hot.
They're so hot. So, what a blessing it is to get really delicious Medjool dates all the way from Jericho, Palestine. I'm really curious, how did this project start for your family?
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll give you the long version, or the long short version. We went back to Palestine because there we knew that the Jericho Valley had the perfect climate for the perfect Medjool date, and we wanted to bring something from our homeland and be able to sell it, in the United States with the rest of our products. So one day my dad was out there and, in basic communication with one of his friends or another businessman, they entered into a partnership on some land in Jericho, and they decided that they were going to plant date farms. And over the years, things happened. He developed friendships with agricultural experts. Other piece of land came available, and they started just building and building and building, and they had farms, and watching these trees grow. Now, if you see this picture from 2008, this is 3 years into the project, and these trees are actually 3-year seedlings. So this picture is a 3-year seedling on our farms. And that was the first time that I went to Palestine, which was in 2011. And here's a picture of my dad with one of the seedlings. And the tree actually it was the first 3 pieces of fruit out of every tree that was ever planted. And look at the smile on his face. You could just tell from this picture that he's just beaming with joy. You don't anticipate seeing fruit on the tree for 5 years. And here we are, he's showing his son the land that he has never visited, and here he is looking at these 3 pieces of fruit. It was like really a super happy day for all of us. And here's another picture of me and my cousin Nimmer and my father standing in front of our farm with all the little baby trees behind us. So it's pretty exciting. And if you fast forward from 2011 until today, last year we opened a packing house to facilitate the processing. The quality control was the most important feature, but the quality control and the processing of our dates. Here you can see some of the machines that are automated for quality of measuring the weight, the length, the grade, and it's just doing it with such precise accuracy. And it was really important for us to bring jobs to Jericho, where you can have Palestinian people working with pride on land that they've lived on for generations, working on dates that they've known for generations. So it's really a beautiful story, and I'm glad to be a part of that. I'm really glad.
I think we're grateful to the land, to the sun, and to the people of Jericho that are working on all these dates. So for us to enjoy them here, I think it's a great time to taste the baked dates. They are probably cooled enough. Right now, can I serve you?
Yeah, absolutely, please. Well,
Here
probably
you go.
tender enough to cut with the fork.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Let's give it a try. And here you have it. Cheese stuffed dates. Dates all the way from Jericho, Palestine.
I love that. It's
dates.
warm, chewy, sweet, salty from the cheese, crunchy from the nuts. The olive oil adds this beautiful element. I love it. May, thank you so much for inviting me to this kitchen chat. I had so much fun.
It was great learning so much from you, all about dates, how to store them and cook with them, and all the benefits that they provide for us. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and share with us your delicious date recipes by tagging us at Ziad Brand. See you next time.
Bye-bye.